welcome, welcome. I want to thank you, sweet band. I didn't realize that the mic was off. I'm always doing that. It's been a minute since I've been on here on camera, so I guess I'm a little nervous. Thank you for telling me this. You guys, I apologize. I was just saying thank you for being here tonight. Please, while you're coming in, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not subscribed. And to my subscribers, my current subscribers, I say thank you. To the new subscribers, I see you. Thank you. Welcome. Grab a seat, get some popcorn. On this channel, we talk about things that affect us, worldwide. We talk about things that, come to mind in reference to our history, our current events, just to reflect and maybe build and maybe create a space for us to come together. This space was originally created, and it is still a space for the diaspora worldwide, continental diaspora and the non-continental diaspora to come together and really have those conversations. Sometimes uncomfortable. This being said, I'm really excited to be here with you guys tonight. It's been a minute. As you are coming in, please hit the like button, share. When you share the video, you tell YouTube, like, look, I like what I'm watching. It also tweaks the algorithm and gets YouTube to share it with other folks out there. So that being said, we're going to look at a book that I've been really, it was, I have to say, it kind of made me feel like, it didn't make me feel good at all. So humiliating in some sense. And the reason that I say it humiliates is because a lot of what's in the book cannot be denied. And of course, a lot of it is dramatized, but I want to leave that to your opinions. I'm going to open the channel up and we're going to talk about a chapter in this book. Now, if you read the title, it said, "Can the Negro Rule Himself?" That is actually a chapter in the book. The book is by author Pritchard Hesketh Vernon Hesketh. That was his name. The book was written sometime between 1876 and 1922. I believe it was closer to 1876 because I found articles to confirm that time frame. So his name is Richard Hesketh. I don't know if I have a photo of Mr. Hesketh. Yes, I do. There he is. This is Mr. Richard or Pritchard Hesketh Vernon Hesketh. He is the author of the book that I don't know where I found this book, y'all. I was researching some things. I might have typed in something to the effect of, can we rule ourselves? I don't know what I did, but I found this book and it just took my breath away. And the fact that it was written about Haiti, or maybe it was a ruling class in Haiti. I think that's what I typed in, and then this book came up out of nowhere, and I was not able to sit it down. Just so many feelings. It stirred so much inside of me. That being said, it brought up something in my mind, and as I looked across the world and saw the way our people, our people live, and I wondered in my heart, is this something that we need to be questioning? Can the Black man rule himself? Is this something that we really, truly talk about? We always talk about having a space, our spaces, and having the ability to make decisions. I wanted to really have a space where we can get online today and really have a discussion of what are some people's opinions on that. But before we get into that, I have no clips tonight because I really want to focus in on this book. Again, the author is Pritchard Hesketh Vernon Hesketh. This book, again, was between 1876, 1922. The name of the book itself, if anyone is interested, is Can the Negro, well, no. The name of the book is Where Black Rules White. And the book is talking about Haiti, y'all. This man went to Haiti around the 1800s, and he, in his journey through Haiti, and that's a part of what he said, in his journey through Haiti, these were his findings. So the name of the book itself is called Where Black Rules White. And the chapter that stood out for me, and I have to admit, there are so many chapters in here that stands out. If you guys are interested, you can find the PDF online for free. And take, look it up there, or you can buy the book on Amazon if you're interested. I actually purchased it. I'm waiting for it to come because I'm interested in having a copy of this book. Can the Negro rule himself is a chapter that I found that I could not leave. I could not stop reading this. It was very telling of how the world saw Black men or Black women and men then, or Black humans then, and very telling of how I believe a lot of people view us today, even ourselves. So that being said, I'm gonna really not spend too much time talking about it. But okay, so before I go on, I want to say this. I want to put this disclaimer out. This is not to say that I don't believe in us and I don't believe that we're capable. It's just to say that based on evidence, there are some things that I think we should question. And when I say question, I mean, I saw this video not too long ago where this woman was saying that to get a great job, she always felt like she had to behave a certain way. She had to, connect with the white coworkers and behave a certain way, and to keep a good job and to be able to go up the corporate ladder. That those are the ways that she had to do that. And we all know, we talk about the mask. We all have talked about that, or you have heard of it if you have not talked about it itself. There's a certain mask that you have to put on when you go out into the world. And it's not truly us. It's what we feel like is more palatable, or more acceptable to others. But us as ourselves, are we capable of doing things as us, as ourselves, without the direction or dictation or the guidance of others? So that's really what stood out for me. And, without further ado, I'm going to get into this book. And you could find this in, of course, chapter 15. Let me know in the comment section by putting in a 1 if you can see this book, if you see the words, because I want to make sure that you guys can see the words. I'll go back to the page where the book is and make it a little bigger if you cannot. So please put a 1 in the comment section if you can see a 1, if you can see the words. I actually have the option to let this book play. I wonder if that is an option still. Let's see. Well, I just want to see something. One moment, guys.
Brings them vividly before your eyes.
Very interesting. I was just looking at it and I didn't really know that it had that option. I just saw that. That's really cool, but I'm not going to use that tonight because I don't, his voice is kind of weird. So with that being said, if you can see the words on the screen, let's get into it. So chapter 15, can the Negro rule himself? Can the Negro rule himself? Is a congenitally, I may not be pronouncing that correctly, y'all. Is he congenitally capable? That is the question which has been mooted of various times and by various writers. In nearly all cases, the line of argument has been the same. The Negro apologist has selected some examples of great men of Negro race, has used them as the foundation of his logical edifice, and instead of arguing from the masses, so instead of arguing from the masses, he says, okay, to the individual, has reversed the order of things. So I guess he's saying, we're not looking at the totality, or he's saying Black people, when they're talking about their greatness, they're not looking at the totality of their masses. They're looking at, they point to individuals, not speaking on the fact that that Black people don't, that's not a great representation of, being able to see greatness, I guess. He said, as reversed the order of things and has argued from the individual to the masses. Can the Negro rule himself? The present condition of Haiti, and it's funny because when we look at Haiti today, And again, I think this is another reason why it took me forever to come here and really talk about this. Haiti being one of the first, being the first Black republic to be in such a state of corruption as it is today is, and I say the state of corruption, not saying that outside of that corruption that goes on within the cipher itself, and I'm speaking on that because we could all pull out facts about what France did, what America did, what Britain did, what they are still doing, Canada, whoever, but none of those things can really happen unless you have a system or people that represent you, look just like you, that open up the doors for and allow certain things to happen. A thief, like I always say this and I will repeat it, a strong man's house cannot be broken into. You don't have the option to break into a strong man's house, only in a weak man's house. And when I say weak, I mean a corrupt person, a corrupt politics. Whenever you have corrupt politicians and corrupt politics in place, other folks could come in and do all kinds of things. And so, going back to the book, he says, "Can the Negro rule himself?" The present condition of Haiti gives the best possible answer to the question. And considering the experiment has lasted, so he called Haiti an experiment. I guess the Haitian Revolution, all of that, an experiment. He says, oh boy, it's hard for me to read through this. Answer the question. He says, answer the question. Considering the experiment has lasted for a century, and I guess by the time he went through his journey through Haiti, it had been a century since the Haitian Revolution, which would be probably correct based on the years that they referenced the timeline of this book. Perhaps also a conclusive one for the century, the answer has been working itself out. There is a flesh and blood. The Negro has had his chance. Do you see? So the Negro, based on his assessment, late 1800s, early 1900s, journey through Haiti, he felt like the Negro had his shot. And looking at what they've done with looking at, they've had their chance to prove if they can rule themselves. Okay, so, all right. So that being said, let me turn the page and we can go on. Again, let me know if you can see, guys. I want you to be able to see the screen, and it helps for people to, when they are reading it later, to see the screen. A fear filled. So the end of the last chapter, let me go back. I hate when I do that. So in this, he said, the Negro has had his chance. All right. And let me go back. Sorry. Okay, so a fear filled and no favor. He has had the most fertile and beautiful of the Caribbees for his own. He has had the advantage of excellent French laws. He inherited and made country with Cap Haitian for its Paris. Now, Cap Haitian, y'all, would have been the New York of Haiti back in its heyday for them, as far as when the French, because Cap Haitian was where they built their capital in Haiti. So he said that, so they had Cap Haitian for its Paris, Little Paris as it was called. Here was a wild land sown with prosperity, a land of wood, water, towns, and plantations. So he's saying this land that they had wood, water, towns, plantations. And in the midst of it, the Black man was turned loose to work out his own salvation. So in the midst of all of this, they feel like, because right around when they took during the Haitian Revolution, in the midst of all of this was all left to them. the stuff that the French, or that the colonizers and the enslavers and what they had done. They're saying that the black man was turned loose to work out his own salvation. What has he made of the chances that were given to him? To begin with, he must define the term Negro. To begin with, we must define the term Negro. And it is this definition that we find as the root of so many errors. The Negro referred to here is the full-blooded African, not the man of mixed race, the Alexandrian, the Nubian, the Moor, or the white throwback. I want anybody that understands what he's talking about. Why do you see where this right here tells you a lot? Because right here, he separates the Negro. The Negro referred to here is the full-blooded African, not the man of mixed race, the Alexandrian, the Nubian, the Moor, or the white throwback, who has inherited a dash of the tarbush. It is possibly by arguing from the individual outwards to prove something on earth. Now, I'm going to say something. So this British man went to Haiti, and he was already showing signs that, this right here that he says was not, that the Negro had already proved that they couldn't rule themselves. He right there, there's a separation. He's separating the Negro from the mixed race Negroes. And then he said the Negro referred to here as a full-blooded African, not the man of mixed race, the Alexandrian, the Nubian, the Moor. So these people, I guess, were mixed race, and they were better humans, or better fit, or the white throwback. They had quite a few labels, didn't they? Who has inherited a dash of the tarbush. I got to go look up that word, tarbush. I know what it means, but I got to go look it up and see if there's anything deeper. It is possibly by arguing from the individual outward to prove anything on earth. This fact is sufficiently obvious to need no demonstration, and yet in the whole history of the Haitian Republic, there is only one instance which could give any solid support to this pro-Negro line of argument. He said Toussaint Louverture. Now, hold on. Let's get into that. So he's saying the only example that Haiti had was Toussaint Louverture. Here we certainly find a great historical figure. Let me scroll this up. Here we certainly find a great historical figure, born a slave. His grandfather, and it has been said, was an African prince. Judging from his pictures, you cannot but form the opinion that Toussaint was not pure-blooded Negro. The features, the shape of his head, the setting of the eyes are all so many strong reasons against such supposition. So he's saying that Toussaint, because of the shape of his head and the setting of his eyes, he couldn't be a full-blooded Negro. He had to be mixed with, one of those Moors, Nubians, or Alexandrians. He said, no way could Toussaint be a full-blooded Negro, because Toussaint, he thought, was one that, what did he say? He said only Toussaint was the good example of a pro-Negro line of argument. Among all the leaders that jostle each other, jostle? I hope somebody look that word up. Each other in the story of Haitian independence. Okay. His is the only name untainted by apology. Look that word up for me, y'all. Oboloquy. or I guess that's something terrible, or unsmirched by the memory of some foul and savage massacre. Ah, we know who he's talking about, foul and savage massacre. So he's saying Toussaint, he's not smeared with the memory of some foul and savage massacre. Interesting. In Toussaint, you have a man whose word was his bond, whose act of mercy are the sole bright episodes against one of the darkest backgrounds of history. A man really sans peur et sans reproche, without fear and without reproach. That would be in English. Who has actuated throughout his life by no other feelings than that of love for his country. The many tales of his acts of generosity, no one of which militated in any degree against the cause of Haitian liberty, are legend. Over against him stands a far different figure, that of General Dessalines. He calls him a figure, just a far different figure, who spared no man in his anger, no woman in his lust. Wow, I didn't know that about Dessalines. He said, who spared no man in his anger, no woman in his lust, who was corrupt and venal to and her degree. So when we read this line, you see how Dessalines, and I have to tell you this, for a very long time, even a lot of Haitians, they did not, they went with the story that was being told to them about Dessalines until they started reading the history themselves and realizing that it was a whole bunch of propaganda put out there about Dessalines. But we know a lot about that, right? You know a lot about the fact that once you step on their toes, you're vile and all kinds of stuff. But let's get into it. And I like the fact that he's turning this now against, how Dessalines, when he made the statement of who spared no man in his anger and no woman in his lust. So this is also making a divisiveness between how he dealt with women and how, and that, of course, by doing that, you're making women hate him and men hate him. I don't know of this aspect of Dessalines being a vile, he spared no man with his anger. Yeah, he was pretty angry at what was happening and what he was told to do to his people. He chose not to, but he spared no man in his anger, no woman in his lust, who was corrupt. And then, who was corrupt? Did I go back too far or something? Okay. Okay, who was corrupt and venal to an unheard of degree. The man who was crystallized his political tenets in the famous saying, pluck the fowl. Listen to this. So his political saying was, pluck the fowl, but take care she does not cry. So this man was crystallizing his political tenets in the famous saying of pluck the fowl, but take care she does not cry out. A saying which to this day is honored in the observance throughout every department of the government. The man who ordered a woman to be beaten to death at Lekai under the most horrible of circumstances, and around whose name each story or legend which has gathered merely adds one other instance of his cruelty. Today, in Haiti, which of these two men is a national hero? It is Dessalines. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This book gets even worse. This is a good example. We talk a lot about how they put propaganda out there, or how they would be smear campaigns basically about these Black leaders, just like, like Malcolm, Marcus, this is exactly what this is right now. So let's go ahead okay, so the next page, let me get back to the page I need to be in. And the act upon which his fame chiefly rests is It is the barbarous decree issued by him for the massacre of every living French soul, man, woman, and child. From Toussaint, then, if he was a Negro, and this I do not concede, an argument might be built up, which would be at all events to some extent the vindication of the claim of the Negro race to rule itself. But by their own choice and their own act, the Haitian people have chosen Dessalines as their national hero. I want to see what you guys are saying in the comment section. I'm gonna stop for a minute and say and take a look. I see Mr. Igwe, you're here today. Hi, sir. So let's go into it. So Igwe says self-rule is only possible for people who have developed a strong sense of personal responsibility, individual, and I agree. Initiative and delayed gratification. I agree 100%. I agree. I guess we haven't got the parts of the story where they never let us alone to develop and prosper. I don't have my thing on, but I would have hit a bomb for that today. Yes, King Kenyatta, exactly. That part of the book is left out. He's just doing, and this whole book is interesting, y'all. I'm telling y'all, it's like 400 pages, and I'm gonna tell you, you can probably download the book for free and get the PDF as I am right now. From and just look it up. It's definitely telling of how things are. I was gonna say how things were, but how things are. I will see what you say here. We tend to create and manifest and move on. Others have used that to their advantage by studying us, learning about those who we might might have issues with around us and internally, and played between the gain and victor. I think you're right. I do agree with the fact that people have studied us. I don't think we study others as much as they study us. I do agree with that. The outsiders though trade and studied our societies. They learned who we have problems with, what weaknesses we have, and come in through marriage, religion. Oh, I love the missionaries. They always come with their missions, and the missions never. It's funny, how many missions have come to Haiti, and you still don't see things. They come in with a mission to build a church, and when they leave a little shabby building that may last a good 5 years. These missions come, and these missionaries come, and missions are never complete. You wonder what the real mission is, right? What was the mission? Was it to come and measure things, figure out where things are? I don't know. It just seems like the mission is always not what it should be. Yeah, or corporations to take power. I agree. So there is no space here to pass in a review the score. So the rulers of Haiti has known. Let me go back to, I can't see it from this screen. Let me go back. There is no space here to pass and review the score or so of the rulers Haiti has known. Suffice it is to say that her best president, Gerald, a mulatto. Look at that. So the best president, I don't even know how to pronounce Gerard, a mulatto, and that the dictatorship of her black heads of state has always been marked by a redder smear than usual upon the page of history. The better, the wiser, and more enlightened, of less brutalized class has always been composed of the mulattoes. You guys, oh, where did I go? I got to go back to that. Did you see that? So this has been going on for a minute. So in the 1800s, they felt like, well, Mr. Pritchard, let's put his picture back up here. Mr. Pritchard He felt like this was him, y'all. This was the man. These are the words we're reading today. These were his words, his journey through Haiti. Probably saying that he's over there just to see things, and all the while writing all these things about the people and saying how he felt like the mulattoes, were better suited to lead because they had, that tar white blood in them. I don't know what that meant. I got to go look that up. That was really interesting. Okay, but let's go back to this book. Put a 1 in the comment section if you're interested in this book, y'all. And if you are gonna go get it to read it, so we can go more in depth. I want y'all to read this book because it will change you. It will change. It will rearrange you. It's really, he held nothing back, y'all. Okay, so where did I stop? He said the mulattoes. He said, okay, so the best president of mulatto, and the dictatorship of her black heads of state. So whenever he talks about dictatorship, there's always some negativity black heads of state, black people there's always some. So the dictatorship of her black heads of state. So mulatto was the president, but the black head of states were dictators. Has always been marked by the redder smear and usual upon the page of history. The better, the wiser, the more enlightened and less brutalized class has always been composed of the mulattoes. And the blacks have recognized that fact and hated the mulatto element accordingly. There you go. So the blacks, he says, they know that the mulattoes are better leaders and more composed and wiser and more enlightened and less brutalized. And the blacks, he says, and that's why it was so hard for me, guys. That's why it was so hard for me to come on here, and I had to keep changing the dates on this. But I wanted to read it because I think that when we talk about history, when we talk about going through history and understanding what was history about, and understanding what our ancestors or forefathers had to deal with, this is a big part of it. And today, if you listen to what's happening in Haiti, there's a lot of conversation about the mulattoes and how they run all the businesses and how they keep certain, they basically got the monopoly on everything. Okay, so that being said, that's funny because here he is again talking about the mulattoes. And I promise you, if you go to any Haitian channel and you understand Creole, it's a lot of talk about how the ruling class, the oligarchy, the blah blah blah, it's always a mulatto. So interesting. Okay, so that being said, the mulatto and the dictators, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the more enlightened, blah, blah, blah. We read that. But, okay, part that I left off of was the blacks have recognized that fact and hated the mulatto element accordingly. But to pass from the earlier days of independence to more recent times, we had not long ago the savage rule of President Salomon. And I believe he was a Negro. The savage rule, he says, of President Solomon, a notorious secretary of snake worship. So I guess when he says he was a notorious secretary of snake worship, I guess he was into voodoo, non-Catholic, maybe he was into African spirituality, beneath whose iron hand the country groaned for years. And the public executions, assassinations, and robbery were the order of the day. And at the present time, today in Haiti, we come to a real cruise of the question. At the end of 100 years of trial, how does the black man govern himself? I can't read the whole book, but I wanted to bring this out to you guys. I know I want to ask anybody that wants to come up here and really talk to me about this. If you're Haitian, make an attempt to come up here and let's talk about this. If you're non-Haitian and you're just African, like we are in Haiti, come up here. Let's talk about this. Very interesting book. Very interesting book. And I'm gonna tell you something. This is like what, 314 pages full of this, just back to back to back to back to back. And it was hard. And I'm telling you, it was hard for me to come on here. And if you have been paying attention to this video, I've had it and changed the date, had it and changed the date. I could not do it. I could not do it because there was an element in me that kind of was like, and then there was anger, and then it was frustration because what's happening in Haiti makes it looks true. And there was so much. There was just so much. But I couldn't put it down, and I will not. And I have to tell you, I have this downloaded, but I'm ordering the real book because I can. If this is something that, this is what our ancestors had to face and what we're facing today, but it's not as upfront. People are not putting it in writing like this anymore, but has it really changed? Is the perception different? I don't know. Let's read a little more. And then I'll stop. So the last sentence was, today, Haiti, we come to a real cruise of question. At the end of 100 years trial, how does the Black man govern himself? The progress he has made, absolutely none. When he undertook the task of government, when he undertakes the task of government, he does so not with the intent of promising the public will, but for the sake of filling his pockets. Damn! For the sake of filling his pocket. His motto is still, pluck the fowl, but take care she does not cry out. Corruption has spread through every portion, every department of the government. Almost all the ills of the country may be traced to their source in the tyranny. I couldn't get through it. I'm still having a hard time getting through it. Because it's kind of right. It's kind of true. And it's kind of, and I'm asking myself, how long has this been going on? Is it true? Is it not true? It was hard for me to really, and it's still hard for me to read some of those words and not honestly say that I don't agree with this man 100%. But when we talk about corruption, they have the audacity to talk about corruption. Of course, there is no Black country that is more corrupt than some of these European countries. We know that. Their corruption is done differently, though. They corrupt in a way where they drain their neighbors and take care of home. Port-au-Prince, the seat of the government, is the cesspool of the Republic. The reason, think about it, y'all. Port-au-Prince, the seat of the government, is the cesspool of the Republic. The reason is obvious. The capital is filled with men who are in the employ of the government, but who are seldom paid. Indeed, And this, when you talk about that, look, but who are seldom paid. You hear about this in Africa where people are working for free. People are working as teachers and they don't get paid for months or years at a time. People are working in governments in Haiti and Caribbeans and Africa, and they don't get paid. Indeed. Who? Oh my God, I'm sorry. Indeed. And I lose it when I flip the page like that. Ah, okay. This is hard for me to go through, y'all. It's hard for me to go through because it's too much like real. Indeed, who are rather expected to make use of their position to pay themselves, and who therefore go to make up a class grasping, dishonest, discontented, and dangerous. So these people become dishonest. Well, when you don't pay people, I can imagine that. I mean, so them not getting paid make them dishonest, discontented, and dangerous. That's some shit. I mean, do we ever think of it that way? That these people, these government workers, because we always talk about how politics is fucked up, right? Our politics is fucked up. We got politicians, that's the problem. We got fucked up politicians and leaders, our leaders, our leaders, our leaders. But if you are a teacher or if you are a political person and you're not getting paid, yeah, you are in a position to do some corrupt stuff. Think about it. You're in a position to make people pay under the table, like some teachers do, or police officers do, stand in the road and make you pay for taxes that ain't real taxes, or making you pay for you to be so these people are becoming crooks. They're becoming let me not use my own words because his words was better. I hate to say it, but it were. Corruption has spread through every portion and every department of the government. Damn. I gotta copy that shit. that right there is deep. Corruption has spread through every portion and every department of the government. And where was that other part? Who are rather, okay, the capital is filled with men who are in the employ of the government, but who are seldom paid. Indeed, who are rather expected to make use of their portions, of their positions to pay themselves, and who therefore go to make up a class grasping, dishonest, discontented, and dangerous. Of the average Haitian politician on entering office are not towards the advancement of his country. Shit. Or projects of reform. His main idea is to make fortune for himself and to use his power to avenge his personal resentments. In the former connection, there is a national proverb which may be rendered: it is no robbery to rob the state. The bond, therefore, which consolidates the government is not that of that the ministers hold similar opinions or political convictions. It just takes your breath away. This book takes your breath away. I'm telling you, it just takes your breath away. There's no way that you can go through this book and not, as much as I hate this man for questioning that. Can the Negro rule himself? There's no way that you can go through this book and not say that you have seen this. There's no way. And I'm putting this link out here. I want y'all to come join me. I want somebody to come help me read because I can't see this stuff real good. But I want y'all to come join me, and I want y'all to really get in here and let's talk about this. I mean, honestly, as I am reading these lines, if you've been here and you've heard some of the things that I have said, and if you are too reading some, I know some of y'all are like, y'all probably like, she not even reading right. Let me read this. What say you? Back to the bay. I'm on page 282 now. It is one of the common interests in keeping the ship of state underway while they help themselves as liberally as possible from its treasure room. It is, I want to read that again because it is one of common interest in keeping the ship of state underway while they help themselves liberally as possible in the treasure room. Suppose present government fell tomorrow. There is not one member of it whom first impulse would not be to put leagues of sea between him and his native land. Oh, smack. So if the government was to fall tomorrow, they ain't gonna have no problems. They would not even think twice. I mean, but in places like Haiti, the political powers of people that are in political offices, their families live in Miami, Florida, Canada, United States, everywhere else but in Haiti. Their children are going to school in other places. They don't have anything. They're not invested. And when you think about it, Black, you know what? I think that Black leaders, and I have said this before on this channel, Black people should, Black laws should be, you cannot go into politics if you choose to buy property, send your children to school in other countries. Meaning that if you're going to be a politician here, your children are going to be here going to school. They're going to be here. They don't get no visas. They don't get to travel and go abroad. You don't get to go to be in hospitals abroad, and then the people that you're serving don't even have good hospitals or things like that. Yeah, you don't have access. If you're choosing to become a politician, and this should be a Black rule for us. This should be a code. If you're choosing to be a politician, and I'm talking across the board, in America, in the islands, in Africa, because it seems like we can't do right. If you're choosing to become a politician, you should not have access to certain things. Yeah, you want to be a politician, you got to love this country to the point where the minute you decide to become a politician, your commitment is that you will and never will leave this country. I bet you our countries would be better. But if you're just somewhere filling your pockets, if you're just somewhere lining up your pockets and filling up your bags and making sure your jars are all tightly filled with as much as you can get from it so you can bounce and go to a better place. And if your children don't have to go to these schools or have to, when they get sick, they don't have to go to those hospitals. It bother you if there was no hospital and your mother, father, sister, brother, wife, children had no hospital and could not go to other countries for hospitals. I don't know. Let me get back to this thing. Very interesting. I read this before, y'all. I read the whole thing. But every time I read it, it brings the same emotions. So suppose the present government fell tomorrow. There is not one member of it whose first impulse would not be to put leagues of sea between him and his native land. Since the Black Republic arose out of the ashes of the French Revolution, it has been twice an empire and a republic for the rest of the time. But under whatever category the government may for the moment have stood, it has always been, in reality, military despotism. Despotism. I hope I'm saying that right. It is that to today, and it is possible to bribe your way to almost anything. It's possible to bribe your way to almost anything. Where else do you guys hear that about? Where do you hear that about? That it's possible that you can bribe your way through anything. You hear that about all the Caribbeans, you hear that about Africa, and I guess you can do that in European countries too. I mean, I'm going to share something with you guys. I know that corruption is everywhere, but it's the way you do it. You know, it's like you're stealing from your family. You're stealing from your own people. You're stealing from yourself. It seems like other places, and I'm just gonna let me remove this for a minute because I want to share something with you guys. I don't want to be like, I don't want to sit here and make it seem like corruption does not exist in other places. Let's take a look at corruption in others. I mean, I had to go and take a look at top tier places and where they fall as long as corruption. I wanted to see where Haiti stood, where Africa stood, where Jamaica stood, where we stood as far as, you know, corruption in the world. I wanted to see what that was. Let me share it. Denmark, 80.7%. New Zealand, 88.5%. Finland, 88. Singapore, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland. Corruption Index, Netherlands, Luxembourg. These are the top, y'all. Germany, United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Canada, Austria, Ireland, Australia, Belgium, Japan, France. Okay, these I want you to pay attention. United States, United Arabs, South Korea, Portugal, Lithuania. How do you say that? Lithuania. I don't know. Spain, Israel, God's people. Forgive me if I'm offending any Israel, please. I don't want to be blocked. Okay, Poland, Italy, Georgia, and I don't think that's the one in Atlanta either. Not Atlanta, Georgia. Cyprus, Saudi Arabia, Greece, Armenia, Croatia, Romania, China, Jamaica. Okay, so I think Jamaica is probably the first Black place that I've seen. I think Jamaica's the first. And it stands at 44.7. Let's go on. South Africa, Tunisia, Bulgaria, Belarus, India, Morocco, Colombia. We're talking about corruption. Vietnam. These are corruption indexes. Real time. This is as of last month, y'all. Turkey. Brazil. Indonesia. What? Kazakhstan? You guys, I don't know. Peru. Moldova. Thailand. This is the index. El Salvador. I want to put things in perspective. Philippines. Egypt. Nepal. Ukraine. Mexico. Bolivia. What? Uzbekistan? I don't know. Paraguay, Russia, Angola, Pakistan, Uzbekistan. I don't know. Uzbekistan? What is that? Kyrgyzstan? Oh, it's a bunch of stands. They're all the corruption index. As you can see, you're seeing you're not seeing a lot of black countries, but we're considered to be the most corrupt. Oh, there goes Nigeria, y'all. Everybody wanted to see Nigeria. 24.9%. Honduras, Iraq, Cambodia, Zimbabwe, Eritrea. So, I mean, this goes on and on. This is the corruption index. Guinea-Bissau, the Congo, the Republic of Congo, Comoros, Haiti. There we go. Number 15, Haiti. Nicaragua, Sudan, Chad, Burundi, Turkmenistan. And this is decreasing, y'all. Libya, Afghanistan, Yemen, Venezuela. And you see, some of the places you think is the most corrupted, it's not. Syria, South Sudan. So I just wanted to share that while I continue with this, because I had to do that a lot while I was reading this book, just to remind myself that corruption is everywhere. I mean, there's levels to this thing, though. There's a way that corruption is played in certain spaces that it is not played in certain spaces. Like the dirt that we do to each other, the dirt that I do to you, I won't do to my people. In some places, the dirt that we do to our people, we won't do to others. And I think that there's the difference. But going back to this book, I have to tell you guys something. It changed me. It changed me in a way where I am like, man, we've been doing certain things a certain way for a very long time. We've been doing certain things a certain way for a very long time. For a young nation, it bounds are so wide, and it gives room for the working of mutual jealousies as well as infinite scope to the ambition of the individual. France, a republic; America, a republic; Haiti, a republic. So say the Haitians. What an insult. The saying needs no comment. I have been assured, however, by a European who has long resided in the country that there exists today a, a section of Negroes who, if they could win their way to power, would soon make the beneficial change in the condition of things. I own that I have seen but slight trace of such class. Besides, there seems to be a little doubt that the advent into the arena of active politics of the truly patriotic party would be resented in the most lively manner by the bigoted populace, who would regard any measures of reform or progress as indicative of a design to sell them into a hand of the whites. And thus, back under the old yoke of slavery. This is an interesting book. I'm not gonna read the whole book to y'all, but I wanted to introduce it to you. I wanted to introduce it to you, and I want you to take the time to really get out here and get this book. The author's name again is Arthur Pritchard Hesketh Vernon Hesketh. What a name. And the name of the book is Where Black Rules White. Where Black Rules White. The chapter that I just shared with you guys, and there is more to this chapter, trust me, is Can the Negro Rule Himself? I want you guys to really, if you have time, just put it in Google. Get this book. Let's have a full-on discussion on this. It was, and it still angers me to read it, but I cannot stop reading it. I get up every day and I read certain things that I've already read again, and I'm taking notes, and I'm while I'm reading it, I'm going back and looking at, let's say, the case of what's happening in Haiti right now. And I'm hearing, other YouTubers, Haitian YouTubers talking about Haiti. And it's funny because I can underline a couple of things that still stand out today. If we really want to change things for ourselves, we have to be able to look at ourselves as well. That's my position on that. There were too many things that stood out. And I never thought, this just the thought of having people work for months and not paying them. Yes, of course it's going to make them become desperate, discontented, and even dangerous. Those were his lines, quote unquote, his lines. Um, it amazed me that there is so much that is in that book that I could see today. And of course, there was a lot of bigotry and a lot of bias and a lot of racism on his part, and a lot of down talking the Black race. You're going to see a lot of that in that book. When I go and I Google this book, there's a lot of people that use this book to make a case. Even today, is can the Negro rule himself? I've shared with you that corruption is everywhere. I mean, there's levels to this thing. There is corruption in the echelon and to the roots, to the lowest of from the top of the pyramid to the low. But it seems like the lower you get, the less wiser, the less wisdom is used in that corruption. I guess corruption itself is a part of everything. I mean, when you think about the elements and you think about earth itself and you think about just everything, and everything, there is corruption, but there are levels to it. There is how you manage it. There is who are you corrupt to? Are you sitting here stealing from yourself? Not that stealing from others is right either, but very interesting. Um, I have not really been on here, and I'm really sorry. I really miss you guys. There is so much love here for y'all, and I'm telling you, I have a lot to share. I hope you guys read this book because I'm going to come back to it. There's other sections that I really want to touch on. But this one right here, I hope those of you that have joined me tonight take the time to go and, matter of fact, I'm going to do you one big favor. I'm going to put the link out there for those of you that might say, I'm going to do it later. Let me know if you can see that. Get that, copy that, and I want you to start reading this book if you can. And what I would also like to suggest is Not just read the book, but read the book and then look at the news. Look at, I mean, take a look into what's happening with us in the spaces that we are in power, in the spaces, you know, in the hood, our black leaders in America, or in the islands, our political leaders in Africa, or, you know, political leaders, what we're doing, how we manage things, the corruption, all of it. Because, you know, it's evident that there is corruption everywhere. I will repeat that. How are we managing? That's what I think this book made me really go deep on the idea of how are we managing, because as I said, everything is corrupt. I mean, from the cells in our body, you can find corruption in that. You can find corruption in the most beautiful things. But how are we managing that in our cipher? So I want to say thank everybody that took the time to come out with me tonight. I'm not going to be on here long. I really wanted to get through this with y'all, and I'm hoping that you guys can really take this link. And if you don't want to read it, you can actually, I just noticed that tonight, where you can actually have your headphones on and hit that little headphone thing, and it will read the book to you, which is awesome. I think I'm going to be doing that while I'm working. So that being said, like I said, there is so much love here for you. And I want you guys to please do me a favor and understand that it is our responsibility to try to fix ourselves and to put ourselves in a place where we can become greater and better. We've had the time, we've had a very long time to take a look at what is being done to us. And we understand that more than anything. We have a grasp of who stepped on whose foot. We understand how history has played out. But it's our responsibility now to take the opportunity to clean out some of the things that we need to clean out, to balance some of the things we need to balance, and to get leverage from all that we have learned. So that being said, again, there is so much love here for you today. Always the Blackness.